Okay guys, so check it. I have two palettes here today, and the first palette is the Coastal Scents 88 eyeshadow palette, and the second one is the brand new Prism palette that came out maybe about a week ago. Went online, tried to get some reviews before I actually made my purchase, and a lot of you guys were wondering what is the difference between the 88 palette and the Prism palette, and nobody could really justify it. One, because it was brand new, so I didn't really expect for anybody to have it yet. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to have to see it for my own eyes and not base it off of the pictures that I'm seeing online, because honestly online they kind of look the same with a little bit of a twist. So I've already owned the 88 eyeshadow palette, and again the Prism is new, so I figured let me look at this thing side by side and see what the difference is. Really quick, I'm going to run through this. It's not going to be extra long and drawn out. I'm just going to run through it. I'm going to tell you what the difference is. The 88 eyeshadow palette comes in a box that looks like this. The Prism palette comes in a box that looks like this. They're both the same size. Only thing different with the box is that with the Prism palette, Coastal Scents is doing this thing where they're putting pictures of some of their other already made up palettes on the back, I guess just as advertisement, and then they're showing the actual palette that you're getting right down here with a list of ingredients. Once you take both palettes out of their boxes, they both come in the same size. Put them up side by side, you know, back to back, they're all the same size. Again, the 88 palette comes out, looks like this. The Prism palette looks like this on the front. Same size everything, except for the Prism palette actually has the ingredients on the back, and the 88 eyeshadow palette does not. Now, for those of you, which is probably most of you guys who have the 88 eyeshadow palette, you guys know that it's an array of beautiful and gorgeous colors, and they look like this. We already know that. We've already used the heck out of this thing. We already know it's gorgeous. We already know it's super pigmented. And again, you get an array of colors. We also know that it comes with 2 sponge tip applicators, which I never use. And it also comes with a nice little mirror right here. Now, when you get the the Prism palette, 88 eyeshadow colors, and you open it up, you're getting the same thing. You're getting a cute little mirror, 2 eyeshadow applicators, and you're also getting an array of gorgeous colors. Now, just off of a glance, you would think, didn't she just hold up the same palette? Actually, I did not. I held up totally different palettes, 2 totally different palettes. And after I got a chance to look at both of them, I noticed that there is a big difference. Surprisingly, you know, you guys may think, well, I've already got the 88 palette. What's the point of me buying the Prism palette? Well, again, since I did get a chance to look at both palettes, there is a difference. Now, there are some colors that are repeated from the 88 eyeshadow palette to the Prism palette, but those colors, I would say, would include your basics. Like, you get one red, which is the same. You get a blue, which is the same. A green, which is the same. A black, which is the same. And maybe a yellow, which is the same. But what I found as far as the difference in the palette is that with the 88 color eyeshadow palettes, though you get an array of colors, it seems as if you have a red, let's say for instance, if you have a red, the next color may not be the next shade to a red, but it may look a hint of like a more pink. Just like with this purple over here. If you have this purple, the next shade may not be the next lightest thing to a purple. And you see it along with the blues, and you see it with the greens, and you can see it on down with some of the other colors. Now looking in this palette, you're like, yeah, they do. They all fall in line. It looks like the next shade of what the next blue is, or what the next red, or whatever the next color is. With the Prism palette, you can clearly see that they give you the next shade of what the color is. Like here, check out the red. See that red right there? Then you see the next shade of red, the next shade of red, the next shade of red. Then we get into our oranges. Same thing with the blue, same thing with the yellow. Now, pretty much in a nutshell is that the colors in the Prism palette would give you an easier blend. You're not going to get a smooth transition into color if you have a red eyeshadow, but then you don't get the next shade. You get maybe like 2 shades from a red. With the Prism palette, you're getting the red, then you're getting the next red, the next red. So using those colors together, it'll show a smooth transition of colors. Another thing that I also noticed with the Prism palette is that you get oranges, and you don't get orange in your 88 eyeshadow palette. I also noticed that in your 88 eyeshadow palette, you get tons of pinks and purples. And this palette, you don't really get a lot of purples. The purples that you do get are kind of deep. The pinks that you do get are similar to the ones in the 88 palette, but again, you're getting more shades of them. Now, these are the palettes side by side. This is what they look like. It's clear that they are both ordered differently when it comes down to where the colors are located in the palette, but you can also see how these colors in this palette will give you so much more of the smoother blend and transition between colors as opposed to blending the colors in here. Now, is one palette better than the other? I think if it comes down to the Prism palette and you were like super into getting your colors to blend seamlessly, the Prism palette would be the palette to go with, because you're getting what the next color should be to give that smooth transition. With the 88 palette, you're getting a good gob amount of colors, and you could probably pass for, you know, a great blending technique, but the Prism palette is giving you the next shade, while the 88, to me, I hope this is clear for you guys, the 88 palette is like giving you 2 shades from it. There are a lot of colors in here that are not repeated when it comes down to each palette, and there are some colors in here that are. You can clearly see that some colors are the same. But again, when it comes down to these 2 palettes, the Prism, if you're like super into getting your eyeshadows, or you're all like focusing on blending and stuff like that now, the Prism palette is the way to go, because they give you such an array. Like, look at those yellows, for instance. You're getting yellows of like all shades across the board. You look at the yellows here, and they're more like yellow green. You see your blues here, and I mean, you're getting pretty good shades of blues, and you come down here and your blues are more teal. So in a nutshell, most of you guys are wondering, it looks like the same palette, what's the point? It's not the same palette. It looks like the same palette, but it's not the same palette. If you're looking for a smooth transition of colors to blend between, the Prism palette is definitely the one that you want to pick up. If you just want a whole bunch of colors and you don't care whether they look like a seamless blend, or you just want to pass off, or you know what the next color may be in line to whatever color that you're using, then you may be able to get away with the the 88 eyeshadow palette. But I really feel like for maybe the professional or someone who is really into having a smooth gradient color change, the Prism palette would be the one to pick up. Both of them are good, but plain and simple out front, just want to let you guys know that the 2 palettes are totally different. They're not the same. So if you guys have any questions about this product review, please hit me up in the comment section below, or either hit me up in the personal inbox. But I just wanted to do a quick and dirty review for you guys and let you guys know that they're not the same palette. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.